I will work on this this part. This is from the Edward BF109. Always don't touch the part with fingers. For parts with flat surface, I use one stick from Evergreen and place an Tamiya tape with the sticky side outside. In this way you can place the part and not touch during all the painting process. When I am working the models and the models are close to finish, I always use this very simple way to hold the model. And this way you have not use gloves, that is not comfortable for work, and never give fingerprints. This is from the electronics packaging. You can, when you buy a camera or a video, keep it, make a kind of, and this never give a mark on the model. If the parts are too small, of course you can use a plastic stick, put a simple drop of cyano, medium texture or thick texture, and glue the part. And you hold the part this way, and when you finish the painting process, you can stick out and fit on the model. In this way, you can paint all without touching this. So let's start. Why I use Tamiya? Maybe is the first question. Why I use Tamiya and why in my videos I use Tamiya? Well, when I make my works, my videos, my books, I always think in the modelers that are not from the European Union or from the United States or from Asia. I think in modelers from South America, from Latin America, and from many countries where some new brands are not available. Tamiya is available in all modeling shops. And of course, and about that, Tamiya, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, the pigments of Tamiya are the most finely grained available. It's very easy to use, and lasting for a long time with no fade. For example, if a model takes light from the sun, it's no problem, the colors doesn't fade. The Tamiya have the X20A, that is the thinner for the acrylics, but long time ago I discovered that the ethyl alcohol works much more fine than the Tamiya or other thinners, and it is cheaper. This is from 96% purity. It's available in pharmacies. When open a flask of Tamiya or any other paint, maybe the flask could be stored for a long time. So take a toothpick and check the bottom. Maybe the pigment will be in the bottom, so it will be a problem. Now this is nice paint. If you have no a suction airbrush, that you have a gravity airbrush, you should make the mixture, or you can make the mixture in a bowl, in a separate bowl, and then take with the brush and put the paint in your airbrush cap. Let me make the interior color of German gray. It's not too much amount of paint. And now a little touch black. And now the alcohol. 40% of paint and 60% of alcohol. Thin it. Air pressure for a base coat that usually it's about 1.2 bars, a little more than 1 bar of pressure. So this is the approximate texture for a base coat. Okay, you can see how this is the grain. I prefer thin base coat. It's preferred to make some progressively thin layers than a big grainy texture. So the old school with the ambrels, you can see the grain with so far. The amount on the airbrush cup is small also, because if you move, and you have a lot of paint inside, you can stain your coats, and then your wife will be a problem. So use small quantities. You can move the airbrush in an aleatory way to cover the part. Of course, in a real model, you should protect the contact areas from the paint to achieve a very nice gluing with the fuselage hulls. And if you paint all the areas without protection, you can have problems. So in a real model, you should pull tape in the contact areas. Okay, now the part is almost painted with the base coat. When you use the alcohol, the grind is very thin, it's not visible for the eye, and the finish is very, very flat, which is great to apply the different effects. If you have not a full matte surface, you have a satin matte surface, such when you use different acrylics, it's more difficult to apply some different effects, such filters or very delicate effects. Once the first coat is done, let's start to apply some effects. The first effect that I usually apply is the shadows. Why that? Well, cockpit, even in 32 scale, are very small rooms. One thing very good about the ethyl alcohol is that it also works very fine for clean the airbrush. You can use for thin and you can use for clean, so it's very cheap. It's more cheap than the commercial cleaners. To start, only with the 4 colors we can make a lot of processes. I think modeling should be easy, should be fast, and should be cheap. So, it's not much more elements or paint in my workbench. You see my presentation video, my workbench has only not too much more paint, some vallejos, but not a lot of paint or a lot of tools. You can do great things with a small quantity of paints, tools. You don't need the last airbrush, the latest airbrush, the latest fashion products. No, modeling is another thing. For the base coat, I put first the paint inside the cup or in a bowl if you have a gravity. But for a filter, the process will be against. I put about 0.75 milliliters of alcohol. And I took a little amount of black. No more. For this process, for this filter, I will raise the pressure to 1.5 bars. In this way, the airflow of the airbrush will be more concentrated, and I can achieve more thin painting lines. Okay, this will be filter. So this is 19% of alcohol and 10% of paint, or maybe less. This is the difference. Okay, this is the base coat and the filter. If you can make this, you can do all. If you have your airbrush, you have to make some trials with your airbrush. If you can achieve this kind of effect, you can do anything. You can do any kind of fade, so you will be great. And now the idea is to apply this filter in all the surroundings of the relief parts, around of the details. It will be not easy to see the effect because this is not more appropriate light. The most appropriate will be to have a lamp here with intenser light to see the effect, and this base coat color is not the most appropriately, but with this kind of filters, from time to time, I prefer to use very small quantities. From time to time, you have to throw away the mixture and make some new one, because as the proportion of paint is very small, sometimes the alcohol or any other thinner takes the paint and destroy it. So it is you have a mixture for 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes you have to throw away and to make a new mixture. Or if you have a suction airbrush like this, simply take the trigger back, the paint will return to the cup, mix again, and you can restart to paint. In the gravity airbrushes, it's more difficult because you have to empty the cup and make a new mixture.
Or you can blow the air back.
Yes.
Then you also mix with the air bubbles.
Which is the secret of modeling? Is it maybe the goal question? To enjoy all the processes. From the moment when you take the model from the box and start to cut the parts from the sprues, and the most boring and the most hated by the modeler, that is sanding. I love sanding because you have not think a lot. You put good music, relaxing mood, and you start to sand, and hearing music is very, very relaxing. It's very relaxing. Enjoy all the modeling processes, even the boring ones. This is the secret. It is important to close the flasket, because I have to tend to move the hands fast, and it could be a disaster in your workbench. Pressure is 1.5 for the effects. It's about. And depend of the model of the airbrush. Some airbrush works fine with less pressure, and some airbrush models need more pressure. You have to try with your airbrush to get the point. Okay, now the shadows are done only on the right side of the part. On the left side is not shadows, at least. You can see the difference. Take the part, very subtle effect. Cockpit has very small rooms, and with very slow quantities of light inside. So if you made more contrasted, the final result will be more nice for the eye.
Filters for green colors.
For green colors. That is maybe one of the most complicated base colors, such as the interior greens. It's very difficult because you have to. Greens have a lot of amount of yellow. If you put some white to uplight, it starts to look gray, and if you put some yellow, it starts to look a lot of yellow, so it's difficult. You have to take yellow and white or light gray, maybe better than white, and put very small quantities to get the appropriate amount to make the filter. With the grays, such this part is more easy. It's much more easy. But the interior greens are very difficult to work. Very difficult to work. Not problem with the shadows, because you also can do with a dark gray, with a very dark gray. But with the light is a problem. Once the shadows is applied, we will make the contrast with the light. So it's the same process. The gray was the medium, not the more dark of the base color. It's a little lighter than the base color. We will put very small amount again. And a very small touch of white. I will make more contrasted because the light is not very good, but the effect will be the same. If the first process was, imagine this apart, and this is a detail of the part, such these boxes, these electric boxes. The first, we applied the shadow around the part, and now the light is around the shadow in this area. This is the light. In this way, the details grow up. Now the detail start to pops. It's not flat.
It's a good contrast.
It's not flat.
You don't paint on the detail itself, but only in the surroundings.
No. Once the airbrush processes are finished, we will start with the paintbrush to give more details to the parts. Now the airbrush process is finished. It's base coat, dark shadow, and then light, fade and shade. It is the same on the plain surface. It's first the base coat, then I apply and fade to the stepping areas like this. With the in the model surface, the process is first I apply the light, and then I apply the shadow, because the result is different. Inside is the same process, different steps, but it's almost the same. It's better to apply the shadows for the parts with a lot of details, such as the interior cockpit. It's better to paint first the shadows and then the lights, and in the surface it's better to paint first the light and then the shadow. For example, in the ammunition panels, you can see there. In the ammunition panels, the lights are in the center. First, I airbrushed the center with the base color uplighted, and then I apply the shadow around in the panel lines. Finally, I remark the panel lines with a wash. That I will now show how I make the wash. This is very easy, very fast, and no need for any primer. It's very easy. Okay, now we'll start with the paintbrush. My favorite paintbrush, and I'm not sponsored. I'm not sponsored by any brand. is the Da Vinci brushes. I tried Winsor and Newton, and they are great brushes, but this is the handling of this brushes is better for mine. Don't think in big, very small brushes should 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, or even 5-0 to paint very small details. I always use the number 2. The most important of the brush is the point. With the brush should have the property to load a great amount of paint. If you use a 4 or 5-0 brush and you take paint, the paint will dry in the point very fast, and you have no time to paint details. While if you use a paint brush from number 2, or maybe from the number 1, I prefer the number 2 because the point is the same, you have a lot of paint to make very small details. So let's make an example with the black. It is very important the paper for the acrylic paint by brush is the paper. I use the Vallejo, but the Mir, Ammo are similar formulas and the result is the same. This is the old Vallejo. This was the first line that he produced later in the 80s. This color, the origin of the Vallejo colors, was developed to paint animated cartoon for TV series. Okay? When the artists paint the caricatures, now it's all is computer, but 30 years ago the artists paint. Okay. Well. Take water, tin, one of the most complicated things of the paint brush painting with acrylics is to get the tinning point, the appropriate tinning point. If you don't add enough water, the paint will be very thick and you will not take good result. If you add too much water, the paint will be very diluted and the result will be not good. Even for painting small figures, the texture should be consistent with acrylics. To the paint. And this is the thing that you will see next is the only secret of acrylic paint. That is, take paint, take towel paper, drain and rotate. No more secret. Drain and rotate. No more secret. You can paint a lot. Superfine lines. Superfine lines means superfine details. You can paint anything you want. It's no other secret. Take paint, drain, and rotate. You eliminate the excess of paint from the point of the brush, and at the same time, the point of the brush is very sharp. You can make anything you want. And for the figure paints, the models that made figures, the secret to get I painted this figure, and you should take a note from the face, the light here, the light here is when you paint a face and want to put the most sharp note of light, you have to move the paint brush this way. The end of the brush is the most light point. When you finish, you are, let's say, we are taking the paint and pointing in the end. The end point is the most light point, is where the light is shining. If you add a little touch of white to make the base color more lighter, for example, to paint the face of the pilot, is the same. Start in the same point and end at the same point. The paint will be accumulated in the final edge, and you will achieve the light, the most light point. For the details of the cockpit, now we will add some white. Okay. And it is the same, drying and rotate. Never try to paint this way with the point perpendicular to the surface. Try to put the point of the brush parallel to the surface you want to paint, okay? Well, the only thing I do is to paint the relief of the foot rest. It's only the right is paint and the other no. Okay, this is the painted one. You are giving light to the edges of the parts. So after this process, parts will pop more even. You have to search your own super point with your fingers. Okay, your elbows in the table and put your. Never try to do this because it's impossible. You have to search for your points. Now look for the details of the right part. Take the part. Pops more.
Canopy is very clear and shiny. How do you read this? It's
extremely shiny and clean. Yes, it's Tamiya compound, the polisher, Tamiya compound. In the airport, they took my Tamiya compound and throw away also because of a flammable. It's Tamiya compound with a little paper, and the finish is with my glasses. You can polish it. Is the final result is this. It's very shiny. Thank you. So now I will explain the extremely versatility and the extremely possibilities to retouch when you work with acrylics. With acrylics, you can retouch all without being noticed. Of course, I am speaking about very small details, not large details. For example, I will paint the lettering of the Canon. It's the typical lettering. I will paint it first, black. Okay, the base is done. And now pure white. You have to try first to paint very fine lines. I paint two parallel lines on the lettering with the white. First I apply the black base coat, and then I paint two parallel lines. And now the only thing you have to do is to make very small cuts. And now you have a very small, very nice lettering, even with the scripts. So once you have made the shadows with the airbrush, the light with the airbrush, and you have paint the details with the paintbrush, you can make a final touch to make the final shadow, to make the final fade to the part that is to make a very simple wash. Umbrella washes could be very, very precise. No need to buy expensive products. I'm not against the expensive products. They are moving the market and it is great for modeling. No, products in the market are great, but I would like to tell that it's an option. And the X20 is great because you don't need 4 primers. I made all the panel lines of this model, and this model have no prime coats. It's the Tamiya straight painted on the plastic. And it is no problem, no need to buy a very expensive prime, because you have given a thick base coat, sometimes with grain. Avoid it, paint straight on the plastic. Flat black, only 2 colors. Of course, if you want to make more effect, you can use more colors. Never shake the umbrellas, okay? Never shake it. Left the pigment in the bottom of the can. Take a toothpick and take the pigment from the bottom of the can. The smell of the umbrellas remembers me my childhood, because it was the first paints available in my modeling, in my local modeling shop. I remember when I was 10 years old, I purchased my first umbrellas, and the smell, oh, it was great. It's a smell that you never forget. That this is very to find this product now, because Tamiya start production of X20. It's very difficult to find. If you don't find X20, you can use the AMMO or AK odorless thinner that is almost the same. It's very soft product that works very fine. So take a little of black, a touch of brown, I made a new one because they have some rest of alcohol, and the mixture was not good. Put on the part, and the paint will run around the details. It's very easy. You can see how the paint is. By the capillarity action, the paint is running around the edges. And if you have excess of paint, simply take a new X20 and a flat brush and clean it. It's very easy to remove. You can clean it and avoid the shines. As you can see, it's very easy, and you don't need for base coat. Look how the dip has increased another step. Now it's look this part and look this part. A final coat of matte varnish will avoid all the shines and will keep the part absolutely flat. And the final touch, scratches and chip paint. It's mandatory in the modeling menu. It's not comprehensible and a cockpit or a model without the scratches and chipping paint. It's a lot of ways to make the chipping paint. My favorite one is still the Tamiya enamel XF16. It's very easy to make chipped paint with this. It's the same process. You should make at the end of the process, before the wash, because the wash, as is enamel based, can destroy the XF16 that is also enamel based. Again, don't shake. Take the pigment from the bottom. Extremely fine grind this paint. Extremely fine. All my metal finish was made with Tamiya enamels, not XF16 with this that it is XF11, that it is chrome silver. Is absolutely easy to airbrush. No need for a shiny black coat such the other paints. You can apply straight on the plastic. It's very resistant for masking. Even you can retouch if accidentally you put a fingerprint. You can retouch without leaving any mark. It's a very flexible paint and very easy to use. And we can make some very small chips in the edges. Very small point because the scale is small. 140 is small scale. It's very flexible. You can paint a small detail such as if you are using acrylics. You can very small chipping paint, scratches, and of course you with this paint the scratches should shine too much. After you paint it, you can make the final touch. This is Burr Umber from Vallejo. It's a very dark brown. We will tint a lot with water to give a texture some very light. And simply we will make a filter with the brush, giving very small dots on the chips. Now look this very nice brown shine on the. It's more real now. Have a little touch of brown. It's not shine, it has a very real touch of brown that simulates some dirt, some smoke. Now it's time for the Roman Volketov demo. I would like to stay much more time here sharing my experience with you, but unfortunately the time is end. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your kind. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Thank you very much.